Welcome. I'm so glad you could join me today. We have a fascinating guest with us, a woman who's embraced early retirement and is here to share her journey. Thank you for being here, Maria.
It's my pleasure, Sparkle.
To start, Maria, could you tell us a bit about yourself? How old are you and where do you call home?
I'm 44 years old and I live in a charming rural town in Indiana, about an hour and 15 minutes outside a major city. It's a peaceful place, and I've always appreciated the quiet.
Do you have family nearby?
My parents are still around and I have a sister with her own family. We're all pretty close, which is wonderful.
How do you define retirement now that you're in it, especially at such a young age?
For me, retirement is about having the financial freedom to design my days exactly as I choose. It's about pursuing passions, learning new things, and truly living life on my own terms, free from the demands of a traditional job.
And how long have you been retired?
I've been fully retired for just over 2 years now. It feels like a lifetime, and just yesterday, all at once.
Before this, what was your career, and what was your income like?
I worked my way up to a mid-level manager in a Fortune 100 manufacturing and consumer services company. I retired from that role at 42. My income at retirement was around $110,000 annually.
Retiring at 42 is quite remarkable. What prompted you to consider such an early exit from the workforce?
Well, it wasn't a sudden decision, but there was a defining moment. I had been working nonstop, climbing the corporate ladder, and honestly, I was feeling burnt out. The constant pressure, the long hours. I started to realize I was sacrificing too much of my personal life for my career. The true call came during a particularly stressful quarter. I just thought, is this all there is? Am I going to look back and wish I had lived more? It was a quiet but persistent voice that told me there had to be more to life than the daily grind.
That's a powerful realization. When you first heard that call, did you have any hesitations or doubts?
Absolutely, I did. My initial thought was, am I crazy? People don't retire in their early 40s. My biggest concern was the financial uncertainty. Could I truly make my money last for potentially 50 or more years? There's no handbook for retiring this young. I also worried about what I would do with my time. My identity was so tied to my career, I wondered if I'd get bored or feel adrift without that structure. And there was a fear of missing out on career progression, or what my friends and colleagues might think. It felt like I was stepping off a well-trodden path into the unknown.
Those are very real concerns. How did you navigate those doubts and fears? Did anyone help guide you?
That's where my financial advisor, David, became my mentor. I had been working with him for several years, saving diligently, but he was instrumental in helping me visualize and plan for this unconventional path. He helped me shift my mindset from just saving for retirement to planning for financial independence. He reassured me by running different scenarios, showing me the numbers, and building a robust financial model that demonstrated the viability of early retirement. He was the one who helped me realize this wasn't just a dream, but a tangible goal.
With David's guidance, what were the major steps you took to turn that dream into a reality?
My serious planning started quite early, actually, at 23, when I first started saving in my company's pre-401k type savings plan. A coworker about 15 years my senior strongly urged me to start saving for retirement immediately, rather than spending on things I didn't truly need. So, planning and saving for retirement had been on my mind for a couple of decades. The major steps included setting a clear financial independence goal to be prepared to retire by 42. This was a personal target, not tied to any company offer. Consistently contributing 15 to 20% of my pay into my savings and 401k from a young age. This was a non-negotiable priority for me. Minimizing debt, my only debt was a manageable mortgage. I avoided car loans and student loans by careful planning and budgeting. Analyzing my spending habits meticulously. I tracked every dollar for months to get a clear picture of my true expenses, which was crucial for projecting my retirement needs.
That sounds like incredible discipline. What were some of the tests or challenges you faced during this preparation period, and who were your allies in this journey?
The biggest test was consistently prioritizing saving over immediate gratification. There were times my friends were buying new cars or taking lavish vacations, and I had to remind myself of my long-term goal. My allies were definitely David, my financial advisor, who kept me on track and motivated. My parents, too, were incredibly supportive, even if they initially thought it was a bit radical. They instilled in me the value of hard work and financial responsibility. As for enemies, I guess you could say it was my own internal voice of doubt, or perhaps the consumerist culture that constantly pushes you to spend.
As you got closer to retirement, what were your biggest pre-retirement concerns, both financial and non-financial, as you approached this significant life change?
My concerns really centered around longevity risk, making sure my nest egg truly lasts for what could be 50 years of retirement, especially with inflation. The cost of healthcare before Medicare at 65 was also a huge worry. That felt like the biggest unknown expense. Non-financially, I worried about maintaining a sense of purpose. My career had given me so much structure and meaning, and I wondered what would fill that void. And, honestly, a fear of isolation. I was used to a busy work environment and worried about losing that daily social interaction.
Those are very significant concerns. Was there a particular moment or ordeal that truly tested your resolve or forced you to confront these fears head-on?
The ordeal wasn't a single catastrophic event, but rather a period of intense self-reflection and financial scrutiny. It was the 6 months leading up to my retirement date. I meticulously revisited every line item in my budget, every investment projection, and every what-if scenario. I grappled with the idea of letting go of the steady paycheck, which had been my security blanket for so long. There was a moment of intense anxiety where I thought, am I making the biggest mistake of my life? I spent countless hours reviewing my spending habits, trying to trim even more fat, and imagining different market downturns. It was a mental and emotional marathon, confronting my deepest fears about financial insecurity and the unknown.
And how did you emerge from that ordeal? What reward did you find on the other side?
The reward was profound. Absolute clarity and peace of mind. After all that scrutiny, I truly believed in my plan. The reward wasn't just the financial security itself, but the permission to finally breathe. The constant stress of work, the performance reviews, the office politics, it all just melted away. The ultimate reward was the liberation of my time and mental energy. I gained the freedom to say yes to things I genuinely wanted to do and no to obligations that didn't serve me. It felt like unlocking a new level of existence.
How was the adjustment, especially the first few months after retirement? Was it a smooth road back to your new normal?
The very last day of my corporate job was a Friday, and I consciously kept that weekend completely free. I didn't jump into any new commitments immediately. I had decided with my advisor that I wouldn't make any firm volunteer commitments or obligations for a full year. That first year was definitely a road back of sorts. It was about decompressing and rediscovering myself. There were days when I felt a bit adrift without the structured routine. I found myself checking emails out of habit or thinking about work-related problems. It took conscious effort to break those ingrained patterns. I spent a lot of time reading, exploring local parks, and just enjoying simple things I never had time for before.
How is retirement life now? Has there been a resurrection or transformation in your sense of purpose or identity?
Retirement is truly wonderful now. I tell people that I sometimes lose track of what day it is, which is a glorious problem to have. The transformation has been profound. I've found a new, deeper sense of purpose. I'm no longer defined by my job title. Instead, I'm defining myself by my passions and contributions. I've been spending a lot more time playing bass guitar, even joining my church band. I'm taking golf lessons, which is something I always wanted to do. I've started volunteering regularly with Habitat for Humanity, which is incredibly rewarding. I'm not just retired, I'm an active musician, a budding golfer, and a dedicated volunteer. This period has truly been a rebirth for me, filled with discovery and growth.
What do you do with your time now? What does an average day look like?
Mornings aren't rushed at all. I tend to wake up a bit later than my old 5 a.m. routine. I usually start with coffee and some quiet time at my computer, catching up on blogs or listening to a few podcasts. Some days are filled with appointments, doctors, dentists, car repairs. Other days are entirely free, and those are often my favorites. I always have a few home projects going, like organizing my garage or tackling a new craft. I also love helping out friends with their projects. And of course, there's a good chunk of time dedicated to my bass guitar practice and golf. It's a flexible schedule, and I love being able to visit my family and friends whenever I want.
Looking back on your journey, Maria, what wisdom or elixir would you offer to others who are contemplating early retirement or financial independence?
My biggest piece of advice, my elixir, is this. Start saving early, save consistently, and save more than you think you need. You will never regret having more financial freedom. The daily routine or non-routine you can adjust to over time. Your identity will shift and new purposes will emerge. But you absolutely must be financially ready to retire. Otherwise, you won't sleep at night, and the freedom you seek will be overshadowed by worry. Also, don't be afraid to redefine success. Success isn't just about career progression. It's about living a life that genuinely fulfills you. Finally, think through your retirement options. Make a decision and don't look back. The everyday stress of work is absolutely gone, and it's a blessing. I wish I knew just how much daily stress I was actually experiencing in my work life until it was gone. No regrets about my career choice or where I've lived. No matter what's happened, I've always looked forward.
Maria, your story is incredibly inspiring. Thank you for sharing your journey and wisdom with us today.
Thank you for having me, Sparkle. It was a true pleasure.